Hey guys, I hope your week was awesome. It is Friday, and we have been talking a lot this week about genetic testing, and I've had some questions about sheds recently. So I wanted to kind of dive in a little bit about how we actually prepare our sheds to send in for shed testing. So this is a Leo YB red stripe triple het clown pied het DG male. So he's triple het DG clown pied. Now, when I bought him as a backup for my DG Clown project and DG Pied project, the person, stated they bought them from Canova, but there was no, I think he bought him as a het clown, but he didn't know he was het DG or het pied. He's also very angry all the time. But he did get DG and pied babies out of him. So I bought him kind of just believing that, hey, he's a triple het, but I want to shed test him just to be 110% sure that this is a very good sign that he's going to strike, just in case you guys are trying to figure out behaviors of snakes and whether or not they are going to strike. Him creeping up slowly in that S shape is a very good telltale sign that he's very defensive and that he's going to want to strike. So you need to be cautious. Typically with these guys, it's as simple with ball pythons. It's as simple as just coming in kind of behind them over top of the head. And it usually kind of breaks up that behavior. I wouldn't try that with every snake, but it works with ball pythons. But anyways, I want to make sure that this guy is actually a triple het before I keep breeding him any further into this project. So, let's zoom out here. He actually just shed. I was waiting for him to shed. Currently, I think they said through June 1st maybe, RGI is doing a sale where if you buy 2 fast tests, you get 2 more. So you get 2 for 4 basically. So I was like, well, I don't have a 4th one to test for, but I have 3 that I want to test for. So for like $70, I'm going to get the DG Clown Pied tested. And I also threw in Hypo just for the heck of it, because Hypo's floating around in so much stuff at this point. It's been around for so long that I figured, well, what the heck? I'll just test it. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe I'll get something. So basically, when you get a shed from a snake that you need to get shed tested, you want to pull it out of there as soon as possible, and you need to dry it. So his shed, I got his shed, as you can see right here, sprawled out. They're very easy to unravel when they are fresh and still a little wet. You want to pull it out. I have it just basically stretched out here over top of this Leachy's cage just for it to dry out. That way you are able to make sure it gets dry all over. You're not going to have any spots that are going to start to deteriorate or get moldy or any of that sort of stuff, because if you've ever seen, if you've left a shed in the aquarium too long, they will start to get moldy. Doing it like this, you kind of ensure that it gets completely dry. Now, they tell you to let these dry out. Make sure you try to get off as much substrate as possible off of the shed. You're supposed to let it dry out for 1 to 2 days. Like this is already pretty dry at this point because it's been here for about 12 hours. I'm probably safe to stick this in the mail tomorrow. So I probably will do that because there's basically air all around this. I have fans running in here. It's not on a solid surface. I put it on top of here because this is a screen, they're air holes. So it's getting air circulation from the bottom and from the top. This will dry out perfectly well within 24 hours. So what RGI requests, the last time I sent sheds into Charlie at Gray Rider, he said just send the whole shed if you want to. RGI requests that you only send in like a quarter-sized clipping. So I'm actually going to rip this little piece off here anyways because the bottom of this is sort of bad. So what I'll do is I'll rip that off. I'll bring this over here. And so quarter-sized piece, we'll just pretend that this is a quarter-sized piece right here. So this is scraps. On a side note, what I will do after that, if it's a snake that's important, once this is completely dry, and I take off what I need to send to RGI, I will save the rest of this and just catalog it, keep it somewhere. Then what I'll do, you know, this little quarter-sized piece here is I have these little brown envelopes, and you just put that inside of there. And I already have a shed in here from a different snake. And then you just slap this little guy inside of another envelope. RGI also asks you to put your receipt in there. I put a business card in there as well, just so that they know and verify who this comes from. Snake Limited. I put the shed that's in this little manila envelope inside of there, and I send it off. It's that simple. There's really not a whole lot more to say than that about it. I mean, it's. I think the easiest part to screw up with it is sending in a bad shed. You don't if you have a shed that's completely soiled or been sitting inside the cage for a while, that's damp and starting to go moldy, it may be killing off some of that biological data that they need. That could be deteriorating the sample. So if you know there's a snake that you want to get shed tested, and it's why you see lots of people have been asking why I have sheds hanging here. These are ones that I've just been kind of too lazy to put away, which I need to do. But I know that I'm going to be shed testing them sooner or later, and now that RGI is going to have black xanthic coming out, that's what these ones are here. These three are, those aren't actually black xanthic. Those aren't either because those are visual. Those are hypos and pides. But this is a black xanthic test. These will be black xanthic tests. These, I just left them here initially to know who they went to. You know, this is that snake's shed. And these things are as dry as can be, as dry as the desert. And that's why I've been leaving them there. So where most people screw it up is they're not removing those sheds right away from the tubs or from the aquariums. They're starting to go bad. And it's possible that by the time you send it in, they're not able to get the DNA from there they need to. So if there's a snake you need tested, take that shed out right away, spread it out, let it air dry so that when you send that shed in, it's completely dry, it's completely fresh. And I think on some of the, like the facts from RGI and from Charlie, is these sheds can last for a very long time if they're kept properly and preserved properly, which is really the same with anything that's, you know, biological matter. It's just, I guess, if you're into entomology, it's probably the same thing as like preserving insects. So get it out, get it dry, take that little clipping, put it in an envelope, and it's that simple. Charlie from Gray Rider does his shed testing right through his website, which is shedtesting.com. I think through RGI, you either have to go through Clutch or through Morph Market to currently purchase their shed testing. It would probably be I'm curious to see why they don't do them themselves, the actual checkout. I don't, maybe it's probably some maybe contractual thing, I don't know. But those are the two places that most people, I would assume, buy shed testing through in the United States right now. So that's it. I mean, so I'm going to send this in tomorrow. This still isn't dried out. I was just kind of giving you an example of this one here. This will be dried out by tomorrow. I'll get it in the mail. I don't know, the fast testing, I think the turnaround time is pretty quick. That's why I'm doing it on this one. I want to figure it out because I want to be having him back in with my females that I was breeding him to in the DG Clown project. And just to verify what his genes are so that girls like this can continue to get paired up and hopefully produce some really pretty DG Clown combos for me. Hopefully very soon, because I have 4 females that are ready to go. He's actually coupled up with them. He's had confirmed locks, probably 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 confirmed locks with DG Clown so far. So I can only hope to God that he proves out to be DG Clown, because my first option, my first male, isn't hooking up with them anyways. So I wanted to get them paired. So that's what I do with my sheds. That's how I shed test them. The simplest thing to do is save these sheds. And I'm glad I actually did, because I didn't save all of the sheds that I need shed tested but it did save a lot of them. Ben from RGI actually contacted me earlier today saying that he saw my Thursday video about the MJ project stuff, and he actually said, hey, can you send me in some of those sheds? They're really nice animals. I want to just verify all my testing that I'm doing. And so I actually had both of my double visual female sheds saved up. I had my OD Blade Pied double het MJ Clown female and the male saved. And then I had my Lightning Pied that I produced for them this year and her sister. Now, I didn't have, unfortunately, any of the female clowns that I showed in that video yesterday, or any of the clowns I showed in that video yesterday, but I think 2 of them, those bigger ones, should be shedding, get you here, any day now. So at least these 2 females that look like this, I will be able to send those in. And hopefully he can tell me they prove out to be het MJ Xanthic. But that's a good reason to save your shed test, especially for genes that have not been, a test hasn't been made for them yet, because every once in a while they will request, RGI will request that, hey, and I think Charlie does it too, from Gray Rider, hey, if you have sheds for this specific morph, please send them in. And we're trying to figure out the test for them. So I'm glad I saved those. I actually sent those 6 sheds to him today. I know, that 4 of them are visuals, or 3. I know 3 of them are visuals. I know 2 of them are confirmed 100% hets, but that one, the sassy girl, Bella, is not. She's a 66% het, clown, and MJ. So they will be able to tell me whether or not she is a 100% het or not, which would be very nice. And then hopefully those clowns, a couple of them shed by next week, so I can send those in too, because I think he's trying to finalize all this stuff within the next few weeks. So, saving your sheds isn't a bad thing either. I need to start saving more of these ones, especially the black Xanthic ones. Most of my MJ stuff is going to be taken care of at this point. But that's it. Just preserve them. I keep a little container here. Let's see, down here. Get this stuff off the box here. And I just save it, in here. I have all my extra envelopes in there. These are the sheds from the bigger snakes. My lightning pies that I had saved in there because I was saving them up because I wanted to get some of them tested at some point. So those are in there, and they were ready to go, and luckily they were. I probably don't need to preserve those anymore after he confirms the testing, because there's nothing else I really need to know from those sheds. There's nothing complex going with them. But if you have snakes where you have no idea what's going on with them, it's a good thing to save those sheds, because when you do something like a full panel shed test from RGI, where I think it's $120, and they test your shed for everything they can test for, it might tell you things that you don't know. Maybe there's genes hiding in there that you aren't aware of. Maybe there's a het that's hiding in there you're not aware of. So if it's a very powerful snake and you think it's worth the test and worth the $120, then it's good to have it. So there's a lot of snakes in here I don't need to save sheds for. I'm not a person who's going to just keep testing and testing and testing, especially if I don't need to. It's also the reason why I prefer to create snakes that aren't pos hets. If I'm making snakes that have hets, I prefer for them to be 100%. But if they're 50% or 66% het, I can't test them all. And it's sort of the issue that I have with these 3 snakes here. These are the 3 het black Xanthic snakes that I have left from my last clutch. I've got some more sheds in here too. They're 100% het black Xanthic, but they're 50% double het hypopied. Obviously, hypo and pied are readily available. I've kind of hesitated on spending the money to get those shed tests done, but I might need to help get these animals sold. It might you know, it's obviously gonna make people feel more comfortable spending more money at a higher ticket price for some of these animals if they are triple hets. It might reduce the price on some of these animals if they are only a single het or two hets. But you know, I'm not the type of person to just keep spending money and money and money on actually paying for shed testing unless it's absolutely necessary. And with, you know, my hypopide males from last year that they're 50% het black axanthic, those to me are extremely valuable to get tested because I think they're high ticket items without the het black axanthic. But if either or both of them test out to be het black axanthic, then I would probably end up selling one of them. That would be very valuable stake for me from a selling standpoint. But if I need to figure out which one is and which one isn't het black axanthic, that's going to, you know, determine which one I'm actually keeping. And the other one would definitely get sold if it's not a het. So there's different reasons to shed test. You can't shed test everything because I just kind of feel like you're wasting money at that point. It's easy. It's just as easy to prove it out with a season or two of breeding. But you know, that's the way it goes. But that's how I prepare my sheds for testing. That's how I send them in. Hopefully we get some cool results from the MJ stuff next week. I hope this male proves out to be what he is, the triple het, because if he is, he's going straight back into those females' tubs and hopefully producing some awesome DG clowns for me this year and DG pieds if my other DG pied project male isn't breeding. So that's it. That's it for this weekend. Let me do one more check. I haven't actually checked those ultra males in a day or so. I don't think they shed yet. No sheds. I mean, they kind of look like they're starting to clear up a little bit. So they may be shedding over the weekend, which might just have to be Monday's video unless I make a special video over the weekend for it. But they're close. They're they're ready. I can see the colors a lot better on the very yellow ones. So I guess that'll either be a weekend surprise video if I feel like making it, or it will probably be Mondays. But I'm really excited to see those guys too. So if I don't see you guys again, have an awesome weekend, and we'll talk on Monday.